Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Hike 365 Live, the world's finest St. Louis hiking show here on Happy Trails Hiking. We're Matt and Kay, and you know what this is about. We're going to talk about our hiking challenge for the year.
Woohoo! All right. Good to see everybody on a Sunday. I forgot what day it was for two reasons. One, we have a 3-day weekend, and two, we've been on vacation.
Right.
So we're back. We're back, and thanks everybody for letting us skip last week and coming back in and all this stuff. We've got a great room already tonight, and I'm thrilled to see everybody. So do want to let you know that this show is brought to you by our photography store, where you can find really cool photos from national parks and public lands around the country, like the one above our heads over here, like that one, of Molten Barn in Grand Teton National Park. And you can find those at happytrailshiking.com/store. So anyway, you can also find our Amazon links over there. I think they're above the store stuff. So scroll down a little. You can find it. Anyway.
All right. Well, I see a lot of people have already said hello in the chat. And if you have not, please go ahead and do so. And thank you, Lori. Lori just dropped the link to that store if you want to go and get your very own coffee mug or whatever. And if not, that's all right too. But go ahead and tell us what you're sipping on this evening. Now, I went back to the basics here. I have a glass of ice water, although it is in a Missouri Beer Company glass.
You haven't been here for a while, so you can't say it anymore?
Hey, I do okay, but sometimes I have a hard time with, simple words. Like Missouri. Right.
Anyway.
But let us know what you're drinking and say hello.
I've got a special one, and then I will say hello to everyone in the chat. So we have been in Colorado for the last week, and when we go to places, we usually like to find microbreweries or cideries or whatever to try out and see what they're all about. Well, we didn't do that this time.
We just went to a liquor store.
We went to a package store, liquor store, and got ice for our cooler because we camped.
Right.
And we found some ciders for me. And this one is St. Vrain Cidery, and it's a blackberry botanical. And it says that our blackberry cider is infused with gin botanicals, so like juniper kind of things. Anyway, layers complex aromatics for a blend of tart flavor with a touch of sweet, because blackberry cider is pretty sweet. So anyway, I'll pour this. It's very purpley. And yeah, it's pretty cool. And package store, keeping it blue collar.
That's
exactly.
Right.
With Mike. So we called them in Tennessee when we were growing up. All right, so very purpley. Looks like Kool-Aid. Smells kind of
I will have to say that this is one of the best ciders that we have ever gotten.
It is.
I don't want something that's super sweet, but I don't want something that just turns your mouth inside out with the tartness or sourness. This is like the perfect balance. There's enough sweetness that it's pleasant, but it's not overpowering.
Yep. Jerome's Beef Farm and Homestead is here. Darren, it's good to see you. Bullfrog 79, it's great to see you. Thanks for coming, Uncle Al. Appreciate it. Marty's Cruise here. Love to Wander was here before we started, so saying hello to folks. Chris Aconi is here and has some great pictures to show, and I just watched his video from the pictures we're going to see tonight, right. So that's pretty cool.
That sounds good.
Marty's Cruise got water tonight. Within hiking distance has water. Jerome Beef Farm says, ice water here too. Been outside all day. Need to rehydrate. Good plan with as hot as it's been. I already said hello to Hike with Mike, but hello again. And Lori just drank the last of her iced tea. Must have been good. Good tea. Yep. Mountain Dew. We had Mountain Dew this week. That was like a road trip soda for us. So anyway, Inspired John is here and apologizing for things, which is not necessary. Thanks for bringing folks over. And I'm not sure how to say your name, but Nink. I messed it up, and I'm so sorry. But thank you so much for coming over from Yankees. show. I appreciate that so much. Anyway, and it is a raid, and Uman is here, and has a Guncraft FAL Belgian Black Ale.
Belgian Black Ale.
Now
All right.
that's fun.
That is a unique brew.
Oh, and Love to Wander says, I don't drink. And that is completely awesome. That's totally fine. And you do you.
Well,
right?
Although you'll only make it a certain amount of days without water. So I recommend you drink at least
Drink
water.
some water. Yes. Mountain Dew is a good. Okay, I'm done. We have spent like the whole last week 24/7 together.
Yeah,
You
and we
pretty much.
survived. We did not kill each other.
Didn't kill each other.
That was
or
amazing.
anything. Anyway, so and actually I did. Matt went down and watched some YouTube while I was on the treadmill today. So yeah. Anyway.
All right, catching up on the latest car research.
Yep. Yes, Matt likes cars. So and plenty of water and beer. Yes, that was a thing when we were in college. We would say we need to drink our water. So anyway, yes, and we are glad, as Lori says, we're glad you're here. So thanks for coming. We're going to talk about our Hike 365 challenge tonight. So, yep. This was kind of a thing on our trip. Hike with Mike says, I've found that wearing a mask all day, I drink less water and find myself getting dehydrated during the day at work. Well, we found that hiking in the mountains at altitude with masks was really hard. It was really hard.
We didn't do too much hiking with mask. We only did it when we were in busy places.
But one like 30-minute hike. It was a half mile.
But the biggest challenge that we had with that was we didn't want to have to make restroom stops any more than necessary. So we found that on the long travel days, we tended to get a little bit dehydrated.
Right. Yeah, we drove 500 miles yesterday, which is a lot for us, especially towing, because you go slower when you're towing. And yeah, trying not to drink a lot of water and not to drink a lot of coffee and not to get a headache to go along with not all the caffeine. Balance. It was really interesting. So, Love to Wander. Mike says that they're on fire again. Be safe. And I just wish that some just gentle long-term rain would happen. It would be good. Because in the Rockies where we just were, they just today closed the Trail Ridge Road and the Old Fall River Road, which we'll show you a few pictures of. Yeah,
we really lucked out with our timing.
Yeah, our timing was really good, but they just closed them today because of the fire and the smoke. And Marty's Crew says, I bet the high altitudes and the mask would be difficult. Yes. It was interesting, just the whole thing. And we'll show you our masks here in a little bit, but that's good. And Love to Wander says they are safe. So that is good. And yes. All right. And Die Bullfrog says to carry an O2 tank. And I know some people do that. We don't.
We were not at an elevation that required oxygen, supplemental oxygen.
Yeah.
Because we were never above, say, 12,000 feet. Yeah. Or, well, we might have been, but.
Not walking, not hiking above that.
Yeah, we were never hiking at super high elevation.
Yeah. Anyway, the highest point on Trail Ridge Road, which is the highest point that basically we were at, is 12,000 something. So I have it in the video. But anyway, and Hike with Mike says they got lots of rain in Florida and they'd love to send it out west. Do it. That sounds great. So, all right.
Should we look at the spreadsheet?
Yes. So for those of you who might be from Yankees show and on the raid, thank you again. And we do a spreadsheet every week and people report their hiking miles or foot miles for the week. And we are trying to get, each individual team is trying to get to 365 miles. And here is this week's sheet.
All right. So The way that this works, we've got the teams in the first column, and we did not have a live stream last week. So the second column represents all the miles that have been reported over the past 2 weeks. The grand total column represents how many miles a team has gotten for the calendar year to date. And the target is the number of miles that one would have today if one had got exactly 1 mile per day.
So 250. We're 250 days.
Yes,
into...
250 days into 2020.
That's cool.
And the percentage there is just simply, what percentage you have of the target mileage. So we'll just take a look here and see what we've got. We have Alexandra that has logged 5 miles. Cliff Riser 108, and again, these are over a 2-week time frame.
Yes, but he did that all in like a week, I think. But still, it might have been like 7 or 8 days. But
yes, Cliff is a boss for those who are new. If that's not obvious, by his total of 1386 for the year.
Yes, he's done some amazing things. So
Dana and Irene got 6 miles. Kay and I picked up about 20, and we just clocked over 365, which is the goal. Everyone's goal here is 365 miles in a year.
Oh, Food Forest Permaculture. Hi, Howie. It's good to see you, and thanks, Chris, for the party horns. That's cool. We're having a good time with that. So yeah, woo! We made it.
So next up is Kimberly Austin logging in 13.5. Chris Zacconi 48.8. Nice. Outdoor Nomad 27.2. Shannon Riser with 8. Kenny the Idahonian with 17. And our total for this particular week is 255 miles.
Yeah.
And that's cool. We are almost on target for the year at 91%.
Thank you very much, Alexandra. I noticed one thing. Alexandra's almost 100 miles all by herself. So that's really good. And she didn't start with the rest of us. So that's awesome. Great job.
Yeah, you can start at any point in time if you haven't.
And yeah,
we'll just add you to the list. And if Kay's got a link that if you want to follow,
yes,
if you want to jump in and participate, she can send you the link. Just let her know.
That's actually in there now.
Oh, there's the link. Okay.
Anyway, Marty's Crew says he forgets to log the miles. I'll do that after our hike tomorrow. Nice. That'll work just fine. And I know that Love to Wander just submitted some miles too. So great job, everybody. So excited to have all of you submitting miles and participating. I do have a map this week. I had a good time making it. So I want to show you that. And if you remember, too far. If you remember, they can't see it yet. 2-3 weeks ago, I did a line to show how far we had hiked on the equator. And so I did that again tonight too. So here's our map. And we've got Cliff and Shannon Riser down here in Florida. And Chris Zacconi over here. And Dana and Eileen. And Kimberly Austin. And Outdoor Nomad. This one actually isn't Marty's Crew this time. This is us. Mm-hmm. Wilson State Park. And then we were hiking in the Rockies. And then Kenny the Idahonian, who's been up here in the northern Rockies and Montana area. And then Alexandra from within hiking distance got some in Washington and some up in Coeur d'Alene. So,
and also among the miles that we recorded for this week, we did hike some in the St. Louis region.
Oh, sorry.
And that's okay. But
I didn't know.
That's all right.
All right, thanks. And our line here, we have definitely covered all of the U.S. and we've passed Hawaii now. So that's very exciting. We go all the way from Ecuador.
Out into the middle of the Pacific.
Out into the middle of the Pacific Ocean. So there we go.
Like if you drag the map over, how far till we get to another continent? We got a long ways to go.
To Papua New Guinea.
We could maybe make it to the Philippines.
Maybe.
All right.
We'll see. Indonesia, Singapore. That'd be fun. Anyway, it's really cool. I love maps. So that was the best part of our trip was getting I love these maps. Do you guys collect these maps when you guys go to national parks? So I keep them. I'm supposed to recycle them, but right now you can't recycle them due to COVID-19. So
there was a sign that said no recycling,
Nope.
COVID-19 on the little drop box when we left. So that's fine.
And Marty's crew has been to Wilson State Park. That was one of their very first videos, by the way. I went back and watched it, but glad you got to hike there. Yeah, we only did a mile or two.
Right.
Yeah, it was in the evening after our after we'd set up camp and eaten a little dinner and rescued some of the things out of the refrigerator. Oh my goodness, that was a thing. And yes, Jerome B. Farm says we better have our boots on. There might be a tiny island out there. I hope so. We need a break from all that swimming that we've been doing. And Love to Wonder says lots of those maps. Yeah, I got it. Cool. All right. We have pictures too.
Yeah, let's see everybody's pictures.
Okay. All right. So we had 2 people submit pictures. First ones are from Kenny the Idahonian, and I'm assuming that this is the sun through the smoke.
It's got sort of an interesting watercolor quality to it.
It does. It might be the zoom, like he zoomed in a lot on his phone. I love these. Look at the color and vibrancy there.
That is some really high saturation of the blue. That's
gorgeous. It's beautiful. Lori says that it looks like we might be ready to pass the international date line. It could be tomorrow already. You're right. It could be. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. And Kiribati is out there. But this is another one of Kenny's killer reflections. So
yeah, he gets
that's
good
beautiful
shots.
He does. Well, why can't we just show yours this time? Thank you very much, Kenny, for sharing those from the wilderness area. Shoot, it's one that I want to go to. That's in the bitter route. That one, wilderness area out there in Idaho, Montana areas. So there's that, and then Chris Aconi also sent in some pictures, and per usual, he sends his whole Google photos. And so this is the 600th mile of his Google photos. And yeah, I loved this bridge and all the colors. It's very good. And so I guess it was the 600th mile of the AT. You'll see some of those here in a minute. Waterfalls. Chris Aconi said his video had a cool time-lapse reflection. I haven't gotten to see that yet. Dinner. More dinner. Pretty flowers. Good setup. Fog.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what kind of fungus that is, but it's pretty. Very pretty.
USGS marker.
Matt likes those very much. Elevation is 1948. Brushy. Cool. Neat. It's Chris Aconi says it's his 600th AT mile. Awesome. Yeah, 600. See, I knew it was there somewhere.
Are those jelly beans?
They might be like Ike Mike's. That's my guess.
Okay.
Well, that's cute. Aww. Must have been in the shelter. And the privy that he got to, he rated it an A. He has a rating system. And so it was an A privy. It was nice and open and wasn't stinky and smelly.
All right.
These are awesome. Thistle. Awesome. He has some of Moose, the cows that are along this section. Oh, come on, computer. There we go. Oh, that's cool. With the people. You can definitely see perspective there. That's really cool. Great photos. Great, great photos. He says the last ones. All right. Well, fine. I'll go back down to the bottom then. Last ones are the moose. There they are. Well, that was the trickle of a spring, but they're the moose. They're very slobbery.
They're cows.
And a gnome.
Yeah, everybody needs a garden gnome.
I love it. I'm playing a saxophone.
Yes, the gnome
Nonetheless.
sax. That's all right.
Very cool. Very cool. Last ones had the gnome. Yes, I loved the gnome part. So that's cool. Yep. And very good photos. All right, the last photos we have before Matt gets to eat his ribs that he's been smoking today. And my chicken. I get to eat chicken. Slobbery was a good word for the cows, he says. Yeah, they were slobbery. It happens. So, but the last photos are from us, and we left last Sunday and headed to Wilson State Park. So I'm going to share this. We've got a video at the end. Don't forget the video. I forgot the video the last time. I felt really stupid. So anyway. So this first photo right here is of Alf and our chairs at Wilson State Park. You want to talk more about this, Matt?
Yeah. So first, I took this with an iPhone. I have an 11 Pro, and it's interesting that it actually does pretty doggone good night photos.
You can see the stars.
Yeah, I got some stars
Yankee
there.
likes those star pictures.
And the other thing, we really like this site. But it was very windy on Sunday night. And I actually got up at the crack of dawn on Monday morning, and I went out to the truck and opened the door, and a box of Kleenexes flew away. I was like, well, there it goes. And I'm not going to go running through the campground and trip over God knows what, when I can barely see. And so
they're gone.
I confess I did a little bit of littering, but I had to let that one go.
Yeah.
So it was some serious wind.
Yeah. Jerome Bee Farm has the same chairs. Barb has one in our trailer. And Marty says, windy. Yep. Welcome to Kansas. Yeah. Yeah. It was windy.
It was impressive.
Once you start seeing those windmills, you can expect it. But this was super, like the clouds rolled in and it was like super wind.
And also note, we were parked on a concrete pad. All 4 stabilizers are down. And the rig was rocking from the wind.
From the wind.
So it was some serious wind.
It was some serious wind. All right. So we do have our Kurt Zitzelman masks. One of them is a Kurt Zitzelman mask. Matt's is a canvas mask. It's a thicker one. And then mine was made by a friend of Matt's, a colleague of Matt's. So, good night, Howie. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you being here. Had to go, he says. But anyway, so this was one of our first days in the Rockies, and we thought we decided we needed to get the whole story. So.
Right. So we worked really hard to basically avoid people. And so we didn't wear the mask too much, but we did have them and deploy them when we needed to.
Yep. And yeah, this was, I don't even remember what lookout or turnout or whatever this was.
This was on the main road.
On Trail Ridge Road?
I think so.
Okay. All right. Well, speaking of roads, this was probably Matt's favorite part of the whole trip. So,
it was.
Old Fall River Road. And we'll have a video coming out about this next week. But Old Fall River Road was the first road that went over the mountains. And it was the only way to get through in the 20s and 30s. And reading some of the information about this, some of those older cars had to go up backwards due to rear-wheel drive and the gas tanks being...
They were gravity fed.
So it said at some point that it looked like it was a 16% grade. And I don't remember that, but
There were some places. I don't know if I ever saw 16%, but there were definitely some steep parts, and it was just such a blast to drive. It's a one-way road. It's dirt, like this picture is showing.
And there's a cliff.
Yeah, and
right
there's a
there.
cliff, gorgeous views, and not that well traveled. I mean, there were not a lot of vehicles. It's just because
Well, I have a picture here. I mean, this is while Matt was driving, and so I have a picture here, and there's nobody in front of us. So, yeah. And Marty's crew says, "Wow, imagine backing up that." Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
And the switchbacks. I mean, it wasn't like it was a nice, like, just little curvy mountain road. No, it was switchbacks. Wait, I gotta go this way. Switchbacks up the mountain.
Right. And the switchbacks were sharp enough that I did one of them wrong, and I actually had to back up. So they're pretty significant
and
turns.
Jerome B. Farm says, I think it's seasonal. Yes, it is. And it's as seasonal as Trail Ridge Road is, but it's dirt. And so if they think that there's any chance that there's a washout or anything, they'll shut it down pretty quickly. So,
and
yeah.
I did see one car on the road that made it, but most of the vehicles were either Jeeps or sport utilities or trucks or something with a little bit of ground clearance.
And Shank Golfer is here. Hello, it's good to see you. Switchbacks suck hiking or driving, he says. And
I might have to disagree because this road was fun to drive.
It was fun to drive.
It was a blast. The switchbacks can be tough hiking though. I'll grant you that.
Yeah, they're just don't count them. So we camped at Glacier Basin Campground, and our goal always when we go to national parks is to stay in the park or as close to in the park as possible.
Right.
And since we knew we were going to be camping and we had Alf, we stayed in Glacier Basin, and I'd heard that I had good views, and I looked at the map and said, oh, it connects to the trail systems that we want to go on. So we can just walk from the campground, which is very cool for us. So, this is at Sprig Lake, and we walked this in the evening, the first evening we got there. Mm-hmm. And this is just the water outlet that's coming out of Sprig Lake and continuing on past our campsite. But it's about a mile from Glacier Basin Campground to Sprig Lake. And it keeps you from having to park in the parking lot and deal with the people in the parking lot. So, but I thought it was pretty.
Mm-hmm. It was pretty.
Matt took this. And then this is Matt and I at Sprig Lake. And you can see the people around there. And we'd had our masks on and had them off, and we took them off and decided to take a picture, and then immediately hit the trail right back. We were really very, very careful. So, Shank Golfer says, sorry, no miles from me last month. Been working on my golf game, which is way more strenuous than hiking. Hiking trip in 2 weeks. Awesome. That's cool. Great. Glad to hear that. So, and I'm happy that you're working on your golf game too. That's fun. And Marty's crew says loves that pic. Thank you very much. It's one of my favorites from our trip too. So next one, we drove over to the west side of the park, and this is Lake Irene. And it was another one where we wore our masks because it was really busy because there aren't that many pullouts and stops on the west side. But we had our masks on for this one. And this is Lake Irene, just a glacial lake on the west side of the park on Trail Ridge Road. So, and then the next one's the same, pretty much. And then this picture is Chasm Falls. And it's on Old Fall River Road. It's one of the only steps.
Yeah, it's the only place that has a legit parking lot on the road.
Mm. Yep, and Shank Golfer asks, were there any bear encounters? We didn't see any bears in Rockies.
We do hike with bear spray, but
we weren't looking for them either. We saw elk, and we saw this deer. And this deer and I almost collided.
Oh yeah, this was just like we just walked down this random gravel road, and
we were trying to
Next
find
to a
all
stream,
of the
yeah.
places that we possibly could find to go. We'd driven all of the main roads in the park already, and so I was like, hey, it's a fishing area. Let's turn that way. And so we parked, and then we started walking down the road, and there were some people over there fishing, and that was fine. That was cool. So we were like, okay, we'll walk down the road a little bit more. And I was going to turn and just take this little, access to the river. And there was a deer. And I went, oh! Anyway, it was pretty funny. Yeah. I was within 5 feet of her. And I just backed up as fast as I could. And Matt just kept talking to the deer. I've never heard him talk to a deer before, but he was like, it's okay, dear. We're just going to keep walking. Anyway, we had this nice little conversation with the deer. She looked skinny. I didn't feed her. She had lots to eat. So, yeah, it was really epic. There were some epic things to see and epic animal. The elk out there are huge.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, so.
See, we didn't get any campground pictures, did we?
I didn't bring any, but I can get some while I play our video.
Okay. Well, I really loved the campground.
Okay.
Because we've camped, say, in Grand Teton National Park at Grovant. Grovant's a great campground, but our sites have never given us a view of the Tetons. Mm-hmm. This campground, what was the name of it again?
Glacier Basin.
Glacier Basin. Okay. Mm-hmm. So in Glacier Basin, we were on Loop C, and our campsite was just, 10 feet away from a view.
I was going to say 30. But that's
okay, 30, whatever. The point is, we could make coffee in the camper and walk outside.
And then see this. This was the morning we left. And you can see down here at the bottom of the picture. Oh, sorry. Down here at the bottom, you can see some people's tent down there. But anyway, so, yeah.
So it was a really good campground. I enjoyed it.
Oh, Lori says, according to Yankee, the deer speak Lenape. Now, okay. And Double Frog says, I'd get mugged by a deer. I almost did. If I'd have gotten any closer, she'd have kicked me. Anyway. This is a wonderful campground, and it will be one of the ones that I recommend to people too. All right, I got one video of Chasm Falls that I want you guys to see so that I don't forget to do it. All right, so this is Chasm Falls, and it's worth the Fall River Road drive to make it, to go see it. That's all Matt took. 6 seconds. I think we have some more actually, and you'll see it in our video coming up in the next couple of weeks. So anyway, that was our trip. We had a great time. It was a good vacation. We needed it.
Yep. Had a nice time.
Anyway, I appreciate everybody being here tonight, and thank you, Yankee, for the raid. It was so sweet of you guys to come over and listen to us talk about our miles for a little while. And yeah, guys, keep getting your miles in. We'll be back next week and the week after that. So Spirit Forest did get with me, and I will be sending out her backpack to her, and we will be starting to announce our prizes for the end of the challenge here in December. So
okay,
that's all we had for tonight, guys. Thank you so much, and guys, be safe, and we'll talk to you soon. Cheers, everybody. Thanks for coming.